Hello lovely, thank you so much for joining me today. If you haven't met me before, then hello, my name is Laura. I'm so happy that you are here with me today and have chosen to spend some time with me. Now, I'm very rusty. I haven't sat down to film a proper YouTube video for over a month. I'm going to be in this video kind of updating you on things that have been happening. I've had some questions in my comments and community tab about how certain things are going, and I thought I would just take that opportunity to do that in this video. I'm just going to be doing a get ready with me today using a full face of nothing new. I have an idea of a look that I kind of want to create. I've pulled out a bunch of products. Some of them are items that are currently on my chopping block, so I want to give them a test today. And yeah, I will be doing the videos that I talked about previously, like my Q&A and talking about the fantasy self and aging and social media, all that sort of thing. I will be doing that in upcoming videos, but for today, for just my very first video back, I just wanted to do quite a chill, no pressure, get ready with me. So I hope that sounds interesting to you. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to my channel. I would absolutely love to have you here and spend some more time with you in the future. Give me a like if you like this kind of content, if you like get ready with me's, that sort of thing. Leave me a comment. I love chatting to you guys in the comment section. And without further ado, let's put some makeup on my face. Okay, so first things first, the sun is going down. I'm working in completely natural light at the moment, but if I notice on the video that it gets a little bit too dark, then I will put my studio lights on. I just have to set them up. So first of all, I was actually waiting to film this video. I am extremely shaky today. My hands are shakier than normal, and I was hoping that they would calm down a little bit, but they're not really calming down. I'm also a little bit breathy. I think that might be a little bit of like nerves, so hopefully that dies down, but my hands, I don't think they are gonna stop. So if you do pick up that in the video, it's just something that happens to me. I get very shaky hands. It's linked to my chronic illness, chronic pain, that sort of thing, but they've been a little bit worse than usual lately. So anyway, let's start putting some makeup on. For primer, I'm going to be starting with the NYX Marshmallow Primer. And excuse my crazy hair, I've given myself a blowout, and I've just set it in some rollers to get some like natural volume and body in it. So let's go in with this primer first of all. So I hope everybody is keeping well. I'm sorry I haven't been present on here. It was completely unintentional. So let's just get on with the update and talk about why I haven't been on here. I shared on my community tab about a month ago that we had returned home from our holiday in Wales. We were away for just over 2 weeks. And when we got home, we had discovered that our roof had been leaking, and not just a little bit. It was an absolute disaster. We were emptying the car, and I heard my mum sort of yell from the dining room area, and she had basically walked into the dining room, and the whole ceiling was like soaking wet, dripping. The dining room table and chairs was completely waterlogged. She'd got some laundry, like clean laundry that she'd done before we went away, that she'd put on. All of that was completely soaked, and there was a massive, like practically a pond of water on the dining room wood flooring. So the first thing I did when I saw that was run upstairs, because obviously the dining room is downstairs, so if the dining room was like that, what was upstairs like? My mum and dad's bedroom is directly above the dining room. Their ceiling was brown with water. Water was running down the walls. The carpet was completely soaking, which is obviously where it had dripped through to downstairs. My mum's furniture, bedroom furniture, was completely destroyed. It was like all like puckered and like where it was soaking wet. Water, like I say, was literally running down the walls. The wallpaper was hanging down. The only thing that was holding it up was some pictures on the wall of me. The curtains were soaking, and my bedroom, this bedroom that I am sitting in, was also in a pretty bad way. So above me in this corner, my ceiling is like this. And it's all brown. Above me, I'm sitting in front of a window. All my window frame, water has run down my window. My windowsill is rotten, completely rotten. My curtains were completely soaking. My carpet underneath where I'm sitting now was wet. My vanity that I am sitting at, it's a glass top, luckily, and there was all water all over the glass top. But thankfully, all of the makeup in the drawer and the things that were on the surface, like all my brushes and like my eyeshadow palettes that were in my eyeshadow palettes container, this thing, the water hadn't touched this. It was like underneath, and everything that I've got on my vanity is like material, like that's sitting actually on the glass top, is material that can't be affected if it gets wet. So luckily my vanity and everything was okay. But next to me, you will have seen it in like Shop My Stash videos, I've got a tall IKEA unit. It's kind of like the Alex drawers, but I think it's the Malm. It's the one that's got the jewellery, sort of like it's got a mirror in the top, it lifts up. That unit is completely ruined. All the top, everything that was on the top, I had my coffee machine on there, my mugs, my coffee pods, some ornaments that were all sitting on like this big rattan mat. All of that was destroyed, and the underneath where the rattan thing was mouldy, and underneath it's all like puckered, like the water's puckered, and the like the white coating is like split on the first two drawers where the water's obviously dripped down. All my wallpaper on that wall is coming off, and there's a big, I can see up in the corner under where the ceiling is like that, the wall is actually black behind the wallpaper. You can see the blackness coming through. My TV was wet, like there was all drips down the front of my TV. The shelf that holds my Sky digital box, and I had candles and things on, that was all covered in water. For weeks I didn't turn my TV on because I was frightened of it going pop. All the sockets and everything that were there were covered in water, but touch wood, my TV and digibox are now working fine. I've had to take my coffee machine out and I've had to throw some decor away, but my carpet's now dry, my windowsill is ruined, and my window and everything, window frame is all gone. But we've been back a month so far and we still haven't heard anything from the insurance company. So I've been putting off filming because this right now is the very first time I'm actually sitting at my vanity since we come back and discovered what had happened. I've been frightened to sit here, and it's just not really felt right to sit here, as silly as that sounds, because it feels tainted. Like I've still got towels all along like my windowsill, because every time it rains the water comes in around my window frame. So I haven't wanted to film here because it's not felt right, it's not felt whole, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't. I'm probably talking a bit of nonsense, but to me it just hasn't felt quite right. Like my sanctuary, my safe space is like tainted, and every time it rains, which we've had an awful lot of rain here lately, I have been on edge. Like in the night I keep switching the light on to check that my ceiling's okay. So what had happened, my dad is still very fit, and he used to do roofing as a job before he retired. He's a carpenter, but they did like the joists on roofs and things. Oh, and just because I've not talked about anything that I'm actually doing, I have started underpainting as a sort of like a new way of doing my makeup, and I've really been enjoying the overall effect of how my base looks when I underpaint. So this looks kind of crazy, but when it's finished and everything's like done and blended, it looks beautiful. So just to let you know what I've used the NYX Marshmallow Primer, the Revolution Line Fix Under Eye Primer, my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Contour Wand, which has been brilliant for underpainting, and that's literally it so far. So yeah, my dad, he waited till the next day because it was dark when we got back. That first night, it was after 10 o'clock when we got back. The next morning, my dad went out on the roof. We've got a flat roof that's covered in felt, and then it's just like boards and joists underneath. The felt had literally blown right back. We had some major storms while we were away, and the whole roof was flooded. I mean, we think it probably happened quite early on whilst we were away, because for the amount of damage and for it to come all the way through to downstairs, it wasn't just a few days worth of water. So we think it probably happened not long after we went to Wales. So my dad managed to secure the felt back into place, but obviously the damage is done and we need a new roof. So I am literally paranoid of the water getting in and it flooding again. Like I say, at night time I can't sleep properly because if I hear the rain, I'm flicking the lights on to make sure that there's no water coming in. It's an absolute nightmare. So we found the insurance company on the Monday morning, and reported what had happened. And then on that Friday, they sent out a building company to write a report, do an assessment. He was a really nice man, really understanding and sort of like helpful. And he said that the roof alone has £3,500 worth of damage on it. We didn't realise until this assessor came just quite how bad the situation was. So he told us that we are going to have a new roof. They're going to have to put scaffolding all around the house to do the roof. The dining room ceiling, my bedroom ceiling, and my mum and dad's bedroom ceiling has all got to come down. It's possible that my mum and dad in their bedroom, that they'll need a new floor, and it's possible that we might need a new floor in the dining room because it's a wood floor. We don't know yet until we get everything out. But the assessor was saying it was bad, like it was really bad. And what he was saying was it's not a small job, because when they take the ceilings down, it's going to, we've got like coving, like old-fashioned coving. You can sort of see it above my door. When they take the ceilings down, they'll have to take all the coving off. So all of the wallpaper will have to come off. So not only have we got to have new roof, new ceilings, possibly new floors, we've got to have each room completely redecorated. New electrics in the dining room, because when we switched the light on, it was cracking and popping. The water had obviously got into the wiring in the floor. And yeah, it's not a small job. So even though I only had my bedroom decorated not long ago and got it all done, it's all got to be redone again. And when the assessor was here and was telling us about like what needed to be done, he said that it's going to take a long time to do because it's such a big job, and there's going to have to be different teams involved. We're going to have to move out because we only have a 3-bedroomed house, and we don't have like the spare bedroom doesn't have a bed in it or anything. It's only a tiny like box room. We don't have anywhere else to sleep. So he said we would have to move out completely. And whilst that sounds all well and good, we've got 5 cats and a dog. So we can't just go to a hotel. The cats, unfortunately, we are looking into rehousing them because they're older cats. It's not fair to put them in a cattery for an indefinite period of time, because we don't know when we're going to be moving out, how long for. My mum's been chasing the insurance company because it's been a month and we've heard nothing. We know we're going to have to move out, but we don't know when, for how long, where we're going to end up. We've said we could go to the caravan, but the caravan's in Wales. If we need to be local for the builders, then going 4.5, 5 hours there and 4.5, 5 hours back is no good. So we like, everything is up in the air. And plus, this room, my mum's room, and the dining room have got to be gutted completely. I've only just finished putting stuff in its homes, and everything has got to be completely gutted. So me, mum and dad are all very stressed, which is probably why the shakes have got worse. But yeah, it's not an ideal situation that we're in. And like I say, we just don't know when things are going to happen. and you know what the situation is even going to look like. So I used my Hollywood contour wand to add some structure. I used my Revolution Eye Bright just as a colour corrector, and I used my Glossier Stretch Concealer just to clean up my contour. And now I'm just going in with a little bit of my Fenty Cream Bronzer just to add a little bit of warmth. The thing with underpainting is you use a lot less product, but you use more products, if that makes sense, which I think is why I am liking it so much, because I'm like spreading the love across more of my collection. But actually on my face it feels like a much lighter weight layer of makeup, if that makes sense. So I have been really enjoying this method, and it's all because I've become obsessed with a YouTuber called Anna Bankster. She's from Louisiana, and I just love everything about her style, her accent. You know, we're into very, very similar things. We seem to have an awful lot in common. She's somebody who I could imagine going for a coffee with. You know, she's a real coffee nut like I am. And she does underpainting, and I've been watching so many of her videos. I thought I'm going to give that a go for myself, and I absolutely love the result. Now I'm losing the light and I can see that I'm getting a little bit darker. So I'm going to pause the video, set up my studio lights, and then we'll carry on. There we go. There's the studio lighting set up. So as far as an update on the building work or anything like that, obviously I can't give one because I don't have one. My mum spent Monday and today is, I don't even know the day, I think it's Wednesday today. Yeah, it is, it's Wednesday. My mum spent Monday and today actually chasing up, trying to find out what is going on regarding the builders, and apparently the insurance company said that they've not had the report yet from the builders, so they can't give us any answers at all, which is super frustrating, because we have 3 entire rooms that we've got to empty. And like we've said, it's no good them ringing on, say, a Friday and saying we're coming on the Monday. Me and my mum are not able-bodied, so we can't be like humping furniture about. So my dad's going to have to do a lot of it on his own, with me and mum sort of doing the light stuff and organising. And it's not going to be possible for them to say, right, we're coming on Monday on a Friday, and us have all that stuff to do. We've said it's probably going to take us about a week to empty the rooms, so we need notice. Also, my mum was supposed to be having shoulder surgery in October. It's now the 10th of October, and we've heard absolutely nothing from the hospital. So again, we've said, what if the hospital suddenly send a letter and say your appointment's in like a week or something? What are we supposed to do regarding that? Because when she's had her shoulder surgery done, she can't drive for 12 weeks. So what are we going to do about, you know, the stuff that we've got to do regarding the house? So there's doctor's appointment and hospital appointments that we can't make. We've wanted to go back to the caravan, but we can't really do anything because we don't know when all this stuff is going to be happening. We literally in limbo. Everything is completely up in the air, and it's a horrible feeling. It's causing my mum an awful lot of stress and anxiety. I think it's having a knock-on effect of my own anxiety. Like, literally, my favourite part of my whole bedroom is the bit that's got damaged and messed up by the water, and I haven't been able to sit here in my favourite space for over a month. And you know, and also it's coming up to Christmas. It's the 10th of October now. Are we going to be sorted by Christmas? I mean, how long is this actually going to take? Are we going to be done by Christmas? Are we going to be done by Christmas, but everything in the living room, which is where we're probably going to have to store all of our belongings? Or the insurance company have said that they'll actually hire us like a storage unit. But you don't want to be like that. I mean, there are bedrooms, the rooms that we use the most, and the dining room where we would have Christmas dinner. So it's just things like that, and not having any answers. So very frustrating, very anxiety inducing. But what can you do other than try and be as patient as possible? My mum is naturally not a patient person at all. She's getting so wound up, bless her. And my dad just wants to do the work himself because he knows how, but it's the cost involved. It's like not being able to afford it. And I keep worrying about the cats as well. Like, they're 5 elderly cats, most of who, all but one, we've had since kittens, since they were born. 4 of them are the same family. And whilst rehoming them is not ideal, it's what we think is going to be best in the long run, because 2 of them have got bad hearts. It's like a congenital heart defect that they've got, and they absolutely hate going into like a cattery. So it just would be cruel to put them into a cattery for like an undetermined length of time. So we said if we could rehome them, that would be, although it's not what you want when you've had them so long, it's the kindest thing to the cats, because they could go to like a loving home that would be their like permanent home, instead of being in a bloody like outdoor pen or something. So that's another situation that I'm really worrying about. I think mum and dad are just more worried about like the actual, like the building and the work and stuff. Mum's really worrying about us being dropped on basically, and having to try and do everything in a short space of time. When mum's disabled, I'm not the best, and mum hates mess. She finds that very stressful, and living in mess. So it's just a bit of a nightmare all round. And we just want answers. We just want to know what's happening. So back to the makeup for a little bit, and I'll just go through what I have done and I'm doing. So for my brows, I just run a little bit of the I Heart Revolution Honey Bear Brow Jam. I've been neglecting that product, so I thought I would put a little bit through my brows before I do my base. Concealer, I used the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion concealer. And on my cheeks I used my Made by Mitchell blush in the shade pumpkin patch, because I have actually set myself a little makeup challenge. I have spoken before at length about wanting to fix my shopping and consumption problems, and that I've tried no buys and they don't really work for me, and that I've also tried project panning, and that also is not something that I am particularly successful at. So to set myself a little personal challenge, I'm currently on it's not a no buy, I've set myself a budget, a beauty budget. I've only been doing it since the first of the month. I've set myself a beauty budget of £75 a month, but I'm hoping to save this month's and next month's beauty budget ready for Black Friday, because there's a specific item that I would like to get myself, and I'm hoping it'll come down in the Black Friday sales, and that is the Shark version of like the Dyson Airwrap. I'm not gonna pay Dyson Airwrap prices, but I would love one of those kind of stylers, and I've heard really good things about the Shark one, so I'm hoping that there'll be some good deals around Black Friday. And I thought, if I can save 2 months worth of my beauty budget plus the next month's, that might pay for one of those stylers. So I am doing sort of a no buy, and then after Black Friday I would like to actually do a no buy until my birthday at the end of January. So to help me with that challenge, I have set myself a little makeup challenge where I want to do, between now and the end of the month, 10 makeup looks, which seems like nothing to the average person, but there's some weeks that I don't put a stitch of makeup on. I don't really go out much, and oftentimes feel like it's a waste putting makeup on just to sit in the house. But I'm really trying to break that attitude, because otherwise all my makeup's just going to expire and I'm never going to use it. So I thought, if I can set myself a challenge to do makeup 10 times between now and the end of the month, it'll get me filming, because I can use the excuse of filming to put makeup on, and it'll get me using some of my products. And I've also, with that challenge, have set myself 10 inspired looks, autumn inspired looks that I want to do. But today's look that I'm going for is pumpkin harvest inspired, so hence pumpkin patch, the blush from Made by Mitchell. So that is my skin. I just think it looks so nice. Obviously I'm going to go on top of all the cream products with their powder counterparts, but I just think it looks really seamless. It's not too I used such a small amount of product, and I've also been getting into using a foundation brush more. These are absolutely amazing brushes. These are Mange is the name. It's Mange. They're a brand I discovered on Temu, but you can also get them on TikTok Shop. I did place an order on TikTok Shop for some more of their brushes, but the order got cancelled. It was only a small order. Whether they didn't deem it big enough to ship or something. I don't know. It was only like a £14 order. But I'd ordered some more of these type of brushes because I absolutely love these for foundation, and they're a couple of pound, and they're like a really smart looking brush. So that order got cancelled and refunded. But I have bought several sets of mange brushes previously from Temu. This is part of one of the mange brush sets as well. These are like dupes of the BK Beauty brushes, and then I've got a couple of sets of the, you will have seen them probably all over TikTok, the hourglass brush dupes. They're like the double-ended hourglass brushes. They're incredible. So I bought myself a set to take to the caravan, and I've got a set for at home. So yeah, so that is my skin. This is going to be a really long video. I'm so sorry, because it's my first one for a while. I've got verbal diarrhea as usual, so I really do apologise. Okay, so I've just put a little bit of the Beauty Pie Fresh Glow on. I'm going to put a tiny bit more concealer under my eyes. I feel I look a little bit dark under there. For my foundation, I used kind of a concoction. I said at the beginning of the video that I've got some products that are like chopping block products for me. Not necessarily because I don't like them, but I just don't reach for them. And my base is kind of a concoction of 3 of those chopping block items. So I've got my Max Factor Miracle Pure Tinted Moisturiser. This is the Skin Improving Foundation. I always forget about this, but it's a really beautiful foundation. It's a little bit too light for me. So another chopping block item is the NYX Bear With Me Concealer Serum. Now, I love this concealer, but I got completely the wrong shade. This is light and I needed to get fair. It was the only one they had at the time, and this is darker than my skin tone, so I thought mixing it with the foundation that's a little bit too light would be really nice. And I added a few swipes of my e.l.f. Halo Glow liquid filter. Now I have 3 of these. I've got 2 light ones, like the one that's perfectly my skin tone, one that's a little bit more for when I've got a tan, and then one that I bought to use as a bronzer, and I never use it. So I added a couple of dabs of this into the mix to give me this nice like bronzy glow, and I think it does look really nice. So they're on the chopping block more for the fact that I just forget to use them, but the products themselves are really nice. Eventually I would like to pick up my correct shade in the e.l.f. Bear With Me concealer. Now I'm just going to set everything down. I'm going to be using my MAC Studio Care Blend powder to set under my eyes. So I don't know if anybody here watching has any experience of what I've been talking about that's in the UK and knows the sort of process of perhaps how long it took for like a UK insurance company to resolve things, how long the actual process took to put things right, and if anybody's got any suggestions regarding my cats, because that is something that is really stressing me out. I know that it sounds a bit extreme rehoming them, but honestly that feels like the kindest thing. So we've rung all our local cat charities and cat sanctuaries and stuff, and there's waiting lists, massive waiting lists everywhere. So if anybody knows or has any suggestions or is local to me and wants to give some cats, some lovely elderly cats, a home, then it would be really, really helpful, because that is the one thing that is getting choked. The one thing that is upsetting me. Ray's easy. He can just come with us where we go. He's so chilled out. It's not an issue with him. But the cats are a different story. They are elderly and ornery, and yeah, they're the problem, unfortunately, the spanner in the works at the moment. And I really, really would love to get something resolved with them. If not the house stuff sorted, I'd love to at least know that the cats are going to be sorted. So for my base products, finishing off my base routine, I have set my face. I did under my eyes with the Studio Care blend, and then the rest of my face I actually used my MAC mineral foundation. It's a loose powder foundation, but I love this for setting my face because it gives such a lovely glow. For my contour, I used another chopping block product, and that is one that I am a bit devastated about, really, because I never use it. And this is my Lethal Cosmetics face palette. It was one I put together myself. So I've got a contour powder and 3 blushes, and I just never ever reach for it. It's a real shame. I've used the contour once and one of the blushes once since I've had it, and I've probably had it 2 to 3 years now. So I used the contour. One of the reasons I don't use it is I do find it a little bit difficult to work with, the contour especially, because it's so grey and it's such a pigmented formula. I find it a little bit hard to blend. So I've used that, and then I've used my Kosas bronzer, which I've been loving. I've pulled that into my current makeup rotation, and I've been really loving it. It doesn't give much colour to my skin, but it does give a lovely glow. So that is what I've done. And for my brows, I'm just gonna, obviously I've put the brow jam on. I'm just going to rebrush them through and then prime my eyes. Put a little bit more setting spray on, and then we will move on to my eyes, which, doing my eyeshadow, I will probably speed through because this video is going to be super long already. Okay, so I have primed my eyes and I've just done my brows. With my brows, obviously I first put the honey brow jam through. I've just run some of the e.l.f. Instant Lift brow pen through, and then I've just sort of sealed them with the Schwarzkopf Got to Be Glued for brows. I've just put a bit of tinted lip balm on. This is another chopping block, not just this one, but all of the ones I've got in this formula. I never ever reach for them, so I've put one on my vanity to sort of use before I do my makeup, because I used to love this formula and I never reach for it. Another chopping block item, can't believe I'm saying this, but the colour case from Made by Mitchell. I bought 2 of these colour cases and got the little colour corrector case in a mystery bag. I've not used them. I've used this once and this once, this bronze one once. I've not touched the other colour case that I got, which is the ones that's like a grey scale one. I've just never touched them. So I've pulled this today to sort of start my eye look off using one of these to try and sort of get me using them. I had pulled the colour case to use and completely forgot about it, which is the problem that I have. These products, all my Made by Mitchell products, are in their own carry case, one of the Made by Mitchell satchel bags. I never remember to use them because they're in their own bag. So I'm trying to make more of a like concerted effort to use those. Okay, so to start my eye look off, the eyeshadow palettes that I'm going to be using for this look are two of my Colourpop palettes. So I've got Sweet Talk and California Love. California Love is going to be the main one that I use because obviously this look that I have in mind I'm calling like pumpkin harvest inspired, and I think these tones will work really well for that. And then I also have pulled from my Made by Mitchell bag this liquid blush light, one of the really sparkly ones in the shade Love You Miss, and these can be used on the eyes, so I thought I would tap some of that across. But I'm just going to start the look off with like a sort of a wedged liner shape using this colour case, and I'm going to use this second brown. It's like a very camel toned brown, and what you have to do with this formula is like break the surface with the little spatula, and then you can go in with a brush. And I'm going to use my little Made by Mitchell liner brush, and this is going to be very interesting because of how shaky my hands are. This could go south quite quickly, so I'm not going to talk through this. I'm going to be completely quiet. I'll bring you a touch closer. I mean, yeah, this could go south, but I'm going to shut up and give it a go. Okay, so that is fine for that one. I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. Okay, so I've done the same on both eyes, and I've taken a little bit of that colour case underneath my eyes. Now what I'm going to do is take the California Love palette, and I'm going to take this shade here, and I'm going to start blending that over where I've put that colour case cream, and start to sort of blend it out. And I'm using a small like bullet brush from Made by Mitchell. And now I've tapped it over that, I'm going to take a bigger brush and start to work that through my crease. Okay, so I've done that on both eyes now, and I've also taken that same colour underneath my lower lash line. Now to start building a little bit of depth, I'm going to take one of these red mange brushes. It's a nice like pointed sort of crease brush, and I'm going to deepen things up a step. I may actually not dip into the Sweet Talk palette. I'm going to go for this like reddy brown here. It does have some of those, it's called Gold Rush. It has some of those like micro glitters in, but when you tap off the brush you don't really see them. and I'm going to put that again along where I've put that cream and slightly into my crease, but not taking it as blown out as that first shade. Okay, now before I add a little bit more depth and before I add the glitter, I'm going to go in with this shade here called Cruising. It's like a bronze with quite a bright yellow shift. And I'm just going to pop that across my lid. And I really don't mind if that goes up over the crease a little bit. In fact, I quite like that. I'm going to take a smaller, more detailed brush to just get into the corners where I can't quite reach with my finger. I'm going to just use this little brush here and put some more of that gold shade and just put that right at the corner. I'm also going to take that onto my inner corner as well, and a little bit under the eye. Okay. Now, just to add some depth, I'm going to take another shade from the California Love palette. This one is, I think it's Highway 1. It's this rich cocoa brown here that again has some of those glitters in, but you won't see that obviously once I tap off my brush. And I'm going to use, for that, I'm going to use this. It's the same sort of brush that I've just used, just a step down. And I'm going to do that along my lash line, sort of where I put the first like cream liner step. And then I'm going back in with the brush that I used with the liner into that shade that I've just used, the powder, and I'm going to wing that out a little bit, and then take the brush that I've just used and just smoke that out a little bit. Okay, and that's the eyes done with the palette. What I'm going to do now is just apply some brown, like a bronzy coloured liner. So I'm going to use this one from NYX. This is the shade, this is the Slide On Glide On in the shade Golden Bronze. I don't think they make this anymore. And I'm just going to put that along my upper lash line and into my waterline. Okay, now for the glitter. So this is made by Mitchell Love You Miss, and I'm going to dispense some of this on the back of my hand. It's a beautiful shimmery bronze that I think will work really good with this look. It does have that like orangey pumpkin vibe. And to apply this, I'm going to take a Made by Mitchell brush, this one that is sort of quite loosely packed. It's not a super stiff brush, and I'm going to just pick up some of that and then just brush that across where I put that shimmer. And again, I don't mind, I'm actually taking it up over my lid, and the glitters in this are silver, so they do show up. Not sure if you'll be able to see it on camera. As I did in my last few videos at the caravan, I will take some still photographs of the look when it's finished and put them at the end of the video, so any details that might not pick up on camera, you'll be able to see them a bit better. Okay, so that is my eyes done. For my mascara, I used a mixture of KVD Go Big or Go Home. This is one of my favourite mascaras, but this tube is on its last legs. I'm trying to stretch it out as long as possible. So to help it, I've used a bit of my Maybelline Sky High in brown. I use this on the bottom lashes because as this is getting older, I do find that it transfers a little bit on my under eyes, and I've also combed it through to help separate my lashes because again it's getting older and it's getting a bit clumpy. I have got a little bit on my lid that I just need to scratch off once it's dry. Now let me finish the face. So for my highlighter, I've got another Made by Mitchell product. This is the Blush Blush Glow, which is like my favourite of his highlight formulas, and this is in the shade Prosecco Pop, which is like a light champagne. And I've dispensed some on the back of my hand, and I'm going to add this to the high points using a highlight brush. And I'm just doing it this way so it doesn't disturb what's underneath. Okay, and for powder blush, I'm keeping with the sort of theme that I've got going on, and I'm going to use this shade from Trace Gold. This was a old forgotten love that I've recently rediscovered and have just been loving. I'm going to use the brush that I used with my contour powder. I'm just cleaning it off on a little towel. And this is like a nice neutral blush that has a lovely like golden radiance to it. Okay, and finally for lips, I have the perfect lip shade. Now these are all a formula that I've got like 5 of these Fenty Mademoiselle lipsticks left. I decluttered the rest of them, and I am thinking of decluttering these ones as well because I just never reach for them. I don't love the formula anymore. They are quite a drying matte formula, but the shade that I thought would be perfect with this look is actually called Pumpkin Rose, which I don't think you could get much closer. So I'm going to line my lips first of all, and I'm going to use one of my Made by Mitchell liners. yeah, this one in the shade Selling Cookies, which is like a yellowy brown. So I'm going to line my lips with that. I'm leaving the lip balm, like tinted lip balm, on underneath to add the much needed hydration. Okay, so that is the lip liner, and now on with the lipstick. There we go. Very pumpkiny, but that was much nicer to apply with that tinted lip balm on underneath. So I'm going to go away now and sort my crazy 1940s housewife hair out, and I'll come back to show you the final look. Okay, and that is the final look. Considering I only had those rollers in like 2 hours, I've got some serious curls going on. So I'm just going to move you so you can see. Okay, and that is the final look. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry I seemed so stressed and perhaps a little bit anxious to begin with, but I feel much better now that I've filmed, which is always the case with me. I always feel so much better when I've took the time to sit down and film, because we don't know when work is going to start and when we're going to have to move out or anything. I'm not putting off filming regularly anymore. The setup isn't perfect because obviously my vanity area, the area behind it and above it, is not in the best state, but it's better than sitting on my bed, which is what I was considering doing originally. So hopefully you'll be seeing more of me, until of course we have to move out, and I don't know where we'll end up, whether we'll be at the caravan, whether I'll be in a hotel, or what will be happening. But I will keep everybody updated. I think in my next video I'm going to do my Q&A, so if there are any questions that you would like to know about me, you know, to help you get to know me like we're besties, then please do leave them in the comment section. I've taken a note of everybody's questions ready for when I film that video. And yeah, thank you so much for sticking with me, guys. I'm so sorry it was so long and so rambly. This look is kind of different. It's not something that I would necessarily wear out. I'd wear the eyes but with a different lip, like a nude lip, I think. But because this was like a inspired personal makeup challenge, I thought I'd push myself out of my comfort zone. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all. Please take care of yourself, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, lovely.